What's going on, guys? Duelim here. Today, we're going to talk about some bottlenecks in Marvel Strike Force. So we all know there's a lot of bottlenecks in Marvel Strike Force. This is actually going to be the first part in a series of 3 parts. Today, we're going to go over gear. Gear is essential to take tunes up higher and higher, to get stronger and stronger. Outside of leveling, this is going to be the best way to strengthen up your tunes. Gear is going to be divided into some subsections. So we have the main unique for a character here. We have the catalysts for a character here. And then we're going to have the origin pieces here. We're also going to have the mini uniques that the community calls. So to find all of these and to do better overall and to manage this resource better, you guys really need to look at your roster and see what's going on with your roster and see kind of where you're lacking so you can start farming those if you need to. We're going to talk about farming in the next part. But also doing better at not upgrading tunes you don't need to upgrade. I see so many people upgrading tunes that you don't need to upgrade and they work perfectly fine at, maybe gear 16, gear 15. But just because the baseline has kind of turned into gear tier 16, level 95, all this stuff doesn't mean you need to take them there. You need to take your tunes as high as possible that will be able to keep getting you through the content that you're doing. So here you can see I have an Icarus that's level 90. He's only gear tier 16. I didn't take him up because he does what I need him to do in Cosmic Crucible, in War, all this kind of stuff. I didn't take him any higher. I don't need to. You could see tunes. I have Fury. I didn't take him up either for the Invaders team because he didn't need more gear. They do just fine. You could see Firestar. I am taking her to DD6. So as of right now, she was sitting at level 90, gear tier 16. I wasn't going to take her up, but I'm taking her to Dark Dimension 6 for the city section. So I'm bringing her up a little bit. We'll look down a little bit further. You see Black Order. I didn't take into teal gear because I saw no use for it. Infinity Watch, I didn't take them into teal gear because I was a newer player when Infinity Watch was really good and they weren't farmable, and now I have them and it's just not worth it to take them to teal gear because it's a lot of catalysts, a lot of uniques, it's a lot of origin gear that I don't want to waste on these tunes because they are not meta anymore. There's no point. You can see here, big time, I am taking up to Dark Dimension 6. The only reason is because these 2 tech pieces, super easy. Obviously, Rescue just got a rework, so I'm going to be working on her relatively soon. You can see Silver Surfer, he's only gear tier 14. I didn't see a point of taking him higher. When he was good and he was doing things for me, I left him here, and it is what it is. I don't need to take him up higher. Tunes that you want to take up high, obviously anything for Dark Dimension. Kang's a great choice. Black Cat's a great choice. I'm not taking anybody like Dormammu. I'm not taking him to 17 because he is all 5 Mystic pieces for 17. He also takes a lot of catalysts. He takes a lot of origin gear. All this stuff that I have, but I don't have if I'm taking all of my other new tunes that are super important to the meta, like Secret Defenders. I've taken them all to gear tier 18 without a question and haven't even blinked an eye at it. And I will keep doing that for new tunes that are super meta defining like that. That's going to be extremely big. Making sure you take these tunes as high as you can, especially if they have use in more than one game mode. You'll see here, Captain America, he's only gear tier 16. I use him in Cosmic Crucible, I use him in raids, and I still only left him at gear tier 16 because he doesn't need to be higher. He doesn't. He works perfectly fine for the content that I'm in. He doesn't need to be bigger. So here we're also going to look at the Dark Dimension Planner. And I want to show you guys how to get to the Dark Dimension Planner. So this is marvelstrikeforce.com. Once you log in, you can go over here to your name here. This obviously says my name. Go over to roster. And then once you're on the roster screen, you want to make sure you sync your roster. This is going to update all of the gear that you currently have in game, and this is going to make sure it's the most up to date. So make sure you click that sync roster button. You see I did it 16 minutes ago, and then it'll say your roster's been updated. So then we're going to go to the Dark Dimension Planner. This is going to be the main place where you can see what gear you need for Dark Dimension, because that's going to be the main focal point of gear right now. So as you're taking up all of these tunes for Dark Dimension, you want to make sure you still have gear to take up your other tunes to gear tier 16, 17, maybe even gear tier 18 if they are going to be meta defining. You want to make sure you have enough and you're not going to a point where you're like, where'd all my gear go? What happens now? I got to farm this. I'm in a panic. So what you could do here is you can look at the gear that's required for each section. This planner is awesome, super, super helpful to use. So right now I'm waiting for a couple more pieces to take Kestrel and she'll be ready. The main focus of this is going to be at the total materials required section here. So you can see this is going to be the section that I need to do to take every single toon to Dark Dimension 6 if I wanted to do that today. So this is going to be essentially the totals that I need that I have based on what I have currently. So right here, you see the focus cats. I have 2,500. I need 3,600 total. And then it tells you the difference right here in this little red number here. I'll actually zoom in a little bit, make it a little bit easier for everybody to see. You can see a big bottleneck for me is going to be health catalysts. I'm missing 2,300 to take everybody to Dark Dimension 6. This is going to be a big one that I see for most people is the health and the focus catalysts that are going to be the bottleneck. These are going to be the things that you can actually farm in campaign nodes, which we'll talk about, like I said, in next episode of this resource management series that I'm doing. I have short a little bit on bio gear here, but I know right now in the milestone going on for the monthly event for Tigra, we have a lot of bio origin gear. So I'm not going to be doing this. I don't need to farm this because we got a bunch of pieces here. This is almost going to get me all the way to what I need in my Dark Dimension 6 planner here. This is going to get me, I think actually everything. I didn't do the math on it, but I think pretty close to everything. So this bio gear is going to come from here. I'm also missing, if I can find it, carbonadium. Carbonadium will also be from, that's right, the milestone. You're going to get a bunch of carbonadium at the end of the milestone. So it's small things like this that you can look at to see where you're going to get a gear influx so you can stop farming it. You could stop buying it in stores, stop wasting your gold, stop wasting your raid credits on stuff you don't need. So I highly recommend checking out the Dark Dimension Planner, seeing where you're at for Dark Dimension, even if you're not even thinking about Dark Dimension right now. This can give you a good baseline on toons that you want to take up just in your day-to-day play, and you can use this to see how far away you are. So if I wanted to take up, for City, instead of, I wanted to take up a different toon because let's say Symbiote should get a rework and Anti-Venom's still on the team, right? I can see, if I take out the rest, what else I would need to take Agent Venom up based on what I have right now. So you can use this in a day-to-day life, and this would be all the way to gear tier 18. Are you going to need them that high? I don't know. It depends on what the next bio team is. But this is a great way to make sure you are maximizing your resources when it comes to gear. On the next episode, I'm going to be covering what to do with campaign energy, ISO energy, who to blue ISO 4, who to blue ISO 5, and what we are buying in the stores. All right. So if you guys are interested in this, drop a like, subscribe, and that will be dropping next week on Friday. Thanks, guys. Later.